Back in the late 1980s, if you wanted a high quality film-based compact camera, you didn't really have much choice. There was the Minox, there was the Rolly, and the market leader at the time was probably the Contax T. Move forward to the mid-1990s, and most manufacturers suddenly realised there was a market for really decent quality pocketable cameras. Nikon introduced the 35 Ti, Leica introduced the Minilux, Ricoh introduced the GR1, Contax updated from its T to its T2 model, and Minolta introduced the little TC1, which is probably the most compact of all the cameras from the mid-1990s. They all differ slightly. They all have different strengths. In particular, one advantage the Minolta has and the Ricoh has is a 28mm lens. Now, a lot of people do prefer a slightly more wide lens. So if you're looking for a high quality compact and you want it with a wider lens, then the Minolta and the Ricoh both have 28mm lenses. In contrast, the Contax T and T2 have a 38mm lens, and the Leica have a 40mm lens. One of the small advantage this camera has, and something that it won awards for at the time, was its bokeh. Unusually for a camera of this type, it uses water stop aperture, which means that instead of having a diaphragm blades that close down to reach the desired aperture size, it actually has holes drilled in metal plates which just drop into place. So the aperture is completely circular, which gives a very, very nice out of focus effect. So this was very, very popular in its day for that reason. Okay, so very quickly, I'm going to just run over the features this camera has. At the front, I'm sure you can see the lens, which just opens and closes, as most of these cameras do, with the little protection which swings across. You have the aperture selection there, and as I said, as you dial through the various apertures, it does change does bring in a different sized drilled hole, which is as I said, quite unusual. Looking at the top. For a small camera, this is actually a really nice design because it isn't particularly fiddly. Small cameras, for example, the Minox and the Rolly to some extent, were very, very fiddly. This one isn't. The controls are via this big dial on the top. Once you've set your desired focus or your exposure compensation or your flash facility, you'll just move this dial here to the hold position. To set the various settings, you just move the dial from the hold position to the various positions you can see on the dial there. For example, if you want to switch from autofocus to manual focus, you go to the AFM position, then just use this toggle switch at the top just to set the desired position. Then back to hold and your settings are set. So it's a very good system. Obviously LCD display here, shutter release here. On the back you do have an illuminator for the top panel there, diopter correction, on-off switch to the right, and further to the right still you have the spot metering. With the spot metering facility you can just hold the button in and it tends to meter on the central area, which is good for highly backlit situations. Battery goes in the bottom. It's one of the little CR123 lithiums, and film loading is fairly traditional there. I mean, that's about as small as a film chamber can be. The little gold contacts there for the DX coding. One word of warning with these cameras, and this applies to all of the expensive, high quality compacts of the 1990s. So it applies equally to GR1, T's, T2, Nikon 35, Ti, and the Leica Minilux, and also the Minox and the Rolly cameras. Great cameras, very reliable, but spares are no longer available. At the moment, these cameras are selling for some very, very high figures. I mean, certainly £600, £700, £800. Yep, that's worth every penny. I mean, they really are nice quality. It's a nice quality piece of kit. But if they develop a fault, there is a strong chance you may not be able to get it repaired. If the electronics fail inside, you might have to write off the camera. And if you spend a lot of money on a camera, that's painful to say the least. So if you are buying one of these cameras, do bear in mind that whilst they're reliable, there is an outside chance that if it develops a fault, it may not be repairable. I mean, a lot of people would not want to take the risk, and that I'll completely understand. But if you're buying one, be aware of that. Then if the worst does happen, at least you've been warned. I hope that's useful. If you have any comments, please stick them in the comments box below. Otherwise, please subscribe and like, and I hope to see you again soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.